Ladies and gentlemen, I am the War Boss Squee, and we are back in a fashion. This is not going to be something that is done regularly, but at least 2 times a day I think I can manage to actually try and finish what I've started before, and in this particular case that would be Pillars of Eternity, since I now have a working computer. Now, I have not played this game in well over a year and a half, because it took me that long to get my computer fixed. We do have all the DLCs, and I am not running any mods for this, although I am aware that mods are available. But we are going to put this on normal, because I'm not very good at this game, and we're leaving off both Expert Mode and Trial of Iron, because, well, again, I'm not very good at this. Now, once we finish this, I will think about doing the Deadfire sequel, which, honestly, I do prefer in every way, shape, and form. The story isn't as evocative, but mechanically the game is improved in every single aspect. Ship comp, there's a paladin by the name of Pelaginia, I believe her name is.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Now, so saying I've missed characters, I've missed side quests, there's a great deal that I did not do because I did not know what I was doing. However, I do know more about the game now, not in its entirety, but enough. Now, I usually play male characters because, well, they are an extension of my own actions. They are my character, therefore it is me playing. Race is where it always gets a little bit interesting, because I like Godlike quite a bit, but dear God, I cannot stand the way they look. Orlin wouldn't be bad. I have a dwarf here. Elves are pretty solid. I like the white elves from the White That Wins, I believe they're from. Amawa are freaking awesome, and if you want to play a frontline melee combatant, Amawa are where it's at. However, I am going to be basic bitch today and simply go with a human, because one, it gives me resolve and might, and well, it is the most easygoing option. Let's see. Ocean folk. This doesn't really matter, so to speak. It basically just means that you have originated in a different area, but all of your bonuses for being a human remain the same. This is really just more of a aesthetic choice than anything else. Let's see. 10,000 years. God. Medieval stasis in a nutshell. Yeah, well, we're not going to be from the Deerwood, so being a meadow folk is, I think, a little bit different. Let's go with the Savannah folk. I think I was meadow folk last time around. Now, last time we played a fighter. Now, fighters are very, very good at what they do. However, what they don't do is provide a lot of frontline damage. They're good tanks, but they don't really kill things that much, and we're already going to have a good tank in the system, so if I want to play a frontline fighter, I think we're going to go with the Barbarian. Brutes, madmen, berserkers. City-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect. These rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places, that undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. And their ability is Carnage. When the barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks to all other enemies within a short distance to the target. We get a bonus to survival and to athletics, which is going to be very important. And they get really good endurance. Their health is decent. Accuracy is pretty good, and they have very low deflection because, well, they're going to get hit a lot. We're going to go with the Barbarian. Now we get two options here. We have Frenzy, plus 4 might, plus 4 constitution, plus 33% attack speed, minus 10 deflection, health and endurance are concealed for 12 seconds. So I hit harder, I hit faster, I'm easier to hit, and I cannot tell when I need to be healed. Or we have Barbarian Yell. Twice per encounter. It's an average speed attack, which is to say it takes a second to cast it, if I remember correctly. It does have an area of effect of 5 meters, and enemies are frightened. Resolve and dexterity are reduced by 2, and accuracy is reduced by 10. Now, this is a good ability to have, but starting off, I think Frenzy is going to give us more bang for our buck. Now, obviously, we want a good might score. Constitution is going to be important because we cannot see what our points are. This dexterity is not as important because we're going to be getting the bonuses from Frenzy, and we're always going to want to be frenzied in combat. So I don't think I'm going to worry about that as much. Perception is for accuracy, your reflex defense, and your ability to interrupt. Intellect is your area of effect, which normal area of effect is fine, and resolve is your ability to concentrate, gives you a bonus to deflection and a bonus to will, which means you're harder to mind control, things like that. However, I don't remember running into too much mind control, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to put these points into dexterity, and we can always find equipment that will help us with these other 3 if it becomes necessary. Now, different cultures give you different skills, and because once we beat Pillars of Eternity, I would like to import this same character into Deadfire, and because in this case we are in the Dyrwood and we have no knowledge of Dyrwood, we're an outsider, and when we get to the Deadfire, we're also going to be treated as an outsider, although they will have heard of us due to our exploits in this game. That does leave the Deadfire Archipelago, unfortunately, as something that we're not going to be doing. So, I personally really like the Living Lands. I think the idea of it is very awesome. There's an old empire that's currently starting to fall apart at a point. It's kind of like the British Empire. They're losing all their colonies and starting to look a little bit more inward. Deadfire is the Mediterranean. It's pirates and islands and craziness. What is this one? This is your Glatfen. Fertile savannas are extensively farmed by human and Orlan residents. One of the oldest in the world and one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past 1,000 years. That's not too bad. Olivalia is an empire that completely crashed and burned. Let's see. Rautai are very militaristic, which I like the Rautai quite a bit, to be honest. A little bit of that Roman-Japanese style fusion there. White that Wends is the southern ice caps. Like, nobody lives in Antarctica, so I don't know how that works for these guys. But so right now I'm thinking either the Living Lands or Rautai. This gives you bonus Constitution, which should be useful. Also starts me out with some chainmail and a spear and a dagger, whereas the Living Lands gives me, looks like scale mail, a great sword, and a bonus to might. I'm not sure. I think we'll go with the Living Lands. It just looks very cool. Now we have our different backgrounds, which also give us skill points. Living Lands Drifter, you never quite fit in no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place to rest briefly before moving on to the next. You're more comfortable on the road, traveling the world. Colonist, you're part of a group that founded a fledgling colony in a distant land. Doesn't explain why he would not be there anymore, in my opinion. Let's see, Explorer, kind of the same thing as the Drifter, to be completely honest. Laborer, Merchant, scientist, a mercenary, a hunter, a barbarian scientist. That doesn't quite really fit, to be honest. I do like the idea of an explorer. A mercenary would make a certain amount of sense. Athletics and lore versus lore and survival. See, the drifter gets stealth and mechanics, which we're not going to really worry about. Well, mechanics is good. Stealth is not as important for this kind of character. Survival. Yeah, I'm torn. I think we're going to go with athletics and lore, so we'll go with the mercenary from the Living Lands. Okay, so we're not going to go with red hair. This is a game about souls. I'd like my character to actually have one. Yes, I just said that. Skin tone. Let's see. Kind of like that one. Let's see, primary colors. Well, blue is my favorite color, but let's see if we can actually see a blue that we can actually see. There we go. That's nice. Let's see, secondary. We'll just go with the straight. Let's go with white. Or silver. I'm not sure if that's white or not. Let's see. I don't think they added any new beard styles in at all. I like that. That's not too bad. Let's see. Hairstyles. Let's start off at hair 1. Woo! Went a little bit too far there. Okay, bald. No, I already am bald. I don't want to play a bald character if I can avoid it. I'm not really seeing anything that's jumping out and biting me at this point. Let's go. Let's take a step back here. That's not too bad. I kind of like that. Matches the beard. No, definitely not. And what was the other one? Oh, yeah. Nope. I wanted to play a freaking Dwarf Slayer and Pillars of Eternity maybe, but we're not going to go with that. So let's go with that one and see if we can find a portrait that matches, which more than likely not. Oh, that's kind of close if you want to get your Conan on, but we have a beard, so... Yeesh. Now we're getting into the Orlans, which... Yeah. Only downside to a game like this is that the portraits never really match what you can do. He's got a beard. I guess we'll just... Do we want to go with the basic portrait? I don't think I really do. I also don't want to spend all day doing this either, so let's just go with Mr. Conan. And let's get a voice for him.
Mm-hmm. Watch and learn. I'll teach you a lesson!
No, definitely not.
A blade in the dark. What is it? Now I am the leader of the group. Ah!
Quietly now. Yes? I'm flattered.
Yeah!
Follow me.
Let's go!
Steady does it.
I'm here.
Leading the way.
Let's keep quiet.
Ready when you are.
I'll lead the way. You better run!
I'll go on ahead.
Huh? I've got this.
Let's go!
Oh, I don't like any of these, to be honest.
Steady does it.
That's the best one out of the bunch, though. And because we're the Warboss Squee, I suppose we shall just go with Squee. Alright. Now, one thing I did learn that was interesting is that the game actually does take into account if you just murder all of these people. Obviously, we're not going to do that today, but we could. The Caravan Master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis. Now, I am going to read any dialogue that is not voiced, but I will paraphrase it if it's too long.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks.
I just have to admit that an entire society of mud hut dwelling barbarian feral elves is amazingly funny to me.
Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day.
Which is to say I have a nasty case of the diarrhea.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water.
Yeah, if I was a well-traveled caravan master, and I've been to this area before, and I knew that this would be a problem, I would put in a small supply of these spring berries just so I don't get bit by a beetle and have a bad case of the shits.
I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
And where would I find these berries?
They grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
And the ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pond, so I hear.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of the tutorials. I don't really want them. So who did build them?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
There's a good reason for that. Is it dangerous out here?
Not if you hurry about your business, and not if the weather holds up.
What kind of weather they get out here?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a Beowick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to.
Yeah, I always wondered about that. It's like, why would you live in an area where a storm can kick up that could literally suck out your soul? But then again, I've been to Texas, and I've seen those tornadoes, and yeah, I can't really complain too much. So what about these huge rocks coming out of the ground?
They don't got Audra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days.
Now, this is one of those things that's kind of odd, and I think they included this specifically for new players to get a little bit of world building going on. Both in all areas that we visit in Pillars of Eternity and in Deadfire, there is Audra present. So it would make sense if it is found in other parts of the world as well. So don't quote me on that, though.
The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
Alright, well, speaking of seeing things, let's go see about those berries.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
Oh, he's all heart. He scans through the traveler, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the night's journey sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha! He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayadin should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beowick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Love this game, but subtlety is not a strong
Let's get going
point.
before you keel over.
Right.
Alright, so. scouting.
Steady does it.
Is it over here?
I'll get it open.
Okay. We need some lockpicks. I believe there are some lockpicks in here. Excellent. Now we don't have to actually be carrying them, we just have them in the stash, and that would be fine as well. Now, one of these buttons, I don't remember which one it is, actually allows you... Okay, so I guess maybe I do have to equip the lockpicks. I don't remember that having to be a thing. Oh, and I've also got God's Pledge, which twice per rest grants the ability God's Pledge, which is plus 15 endurance. So basically it's a little minor heal. So let's get that put on real quick. And we have our giant miniature space piglet, whom is going to go in the stash. Speaking of, since I'm down here, still locked, really?
Yeah, I've got it.
Huh. Wasn't really expecting that to be a thing, to be honest. Ah, there we go. That's the button I need that highlights everything. Tells you who everybody is in an area.
Anyone need supplies? I've got sundries for sale.
Take that. Is there anything else around here? I don't think there is. Let's talk to Hayden real quick. Man wearing simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed her with a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic.
Got a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road. Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to take a look.
Let's see what you got here. I need some more lockpicks, actually. Let's see. He's got crossbow, greatsword, which we already have, which is a damn good weapon. Daggers, foils, rapiers. Each weapon has a different damage type, which affects different types of armor. Yeah, well, different types of armor. Let's see, lockpicks. Just buy all three of them. Ah, hold it. Oh, I don't have enough money. How much is it? 110. Alright, let's just get the 3 then. That should be enough to crack this open. We're gonna need a rogue at some point, kids.
I'll get it open.
There we go. Let's see, was this
Finished.
worth my time? I have a potion of minor endurance, which, yes, is actually worth my time. So let's... Where did that go? Ah, here we go. Put those in our quick items. Let's see. Yeah, plus 42 endurance over 12 seconds, so that's a regenerating potion. This is a straight plus 60 endurance. So we're going to want to have that one first. Now, I am 99% confident that is everything of value in this little area. Depending on your perception, you will have things pop up, but I don't know if that's going to be an issue right now. So, I don't think we need to stay in our stealth mode at all. And if need be, we can always speed up the time, so to speak. Okay, we've got the horses over here. Yeah, you can speed up the flow of time, which is awesome. Especially since there isn't really that much to do around here. Oh, there's him.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so... There's a deer. There should be some bodies down this way. There we go. Corpse is cold to the touch and ripe from the smell. Ripe smells away from its putrid waves. Dark crusted bloodstain besmirches its simple linen tunic. Oh, more lockpicks. Well, that would have been useful earlier. So, yeah. Who killed these people? That's an excellent question. Now, the one complaint that I will always have about this game, and I believe Deadfire does it as well, you can't notice things unless you're in stealth mode. Because this is not just you being a sneaky bugger, but also you actually taking the time to look around and be a little bit more perceptive. I think they should have had perception be a passive thing. If you walk by something, you notice it because your character is not a complete moron. And leave stealth to just be stealth.
This is recent. Not good.
I got a beer, which is +1 damage reduction for 5 minutes, which is actually kind of nice. And here we have the Disappointer, which, for all of its issues, is still a very good weapon starting out, veiling clothing and a tricorn hat. It's kind of a joke weapon, but to be fair, this early in the game it still hits like an absolute truck, and yeah, you're going to miss a lot, but they're starting characters, you're probably going to miss a lot anyway. So, let's see about finding ourselves our berries and saving ourselves from the diarrhea. This burned lady. Such a lovely name.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
Such a lovely name. Ah, we got some corpses here. Young wolf. Party AI is active. Well, let's stop that. Let's go for knockdown, and let's try out our frenzy once per encounter.
Let's go!
You know, I don't remember there being little bars up there telling you about the amount of time it takes between swings. That could be new. I quite frankly can't remember. Alright, we got our berries. You look like you've seen your share of the action. What did you do before you came out here? I was a constable. And you happen to come over here. No matter what I did, people still got hurt. Some things just aren't in the stars, and there's no changing it. Makes you wonder if the gods like putting us in situations that can't be resolved just to see what we do. Certainly an interesting thought. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Raedric's offer makes a girl think. I'll give him that. Here to settle like the rest. It's a hard offer to pass up. You won't find many offers like that in these parts, believe me. Got some big plans in store. Gonna settle here and start a new life. Well, who knows? Raedric pays well enough. Maybe we end up neighbors. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odema will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. So why are you here? My sister moved out here sometimes back. Sent me a letter. She seemed worried, but that's how she always is. This time, though, she asked me to come out, and that's got me a little worried. I haven't seen her in ages. Been doing guide work in... I'm not going to pronounce that. But I'd do anything for her. She's a better woman than me, so I'm here and we'll see. Odema I've worked with before. He doesn't usually drive a route this way, but he's doing it for me. Let's head back to camp. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparfield's getting your water anytime soon. He does what he feels like when he feels like it. I should check up on him first, slap him around a little. The stream's just down that way. Come on, let's go get your water. Now, keep in mind is that she was making jokes that he doesn't pay enough, and Odema was making jokes about how she's, well, kind of a bitch. Which is funny, because the only reason he came this way was because of her. Which I always thought was kind of entertaining. Okay, so our little buddy isn't here. Where's that damn bridge? This way.
What a surprise. Sparfel went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on.
Alright, you crouch at the riverbank and dip your water skin into the cool water while Casca waits nearby. A Kalisa. As you rise, you notice her look up sharply towards the tree line. You've gained an item. Full water skin. Out of the trees emerges Sparfell, one of the guides. Barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow. And there's a strangeness to his gait, his stride wobbly as he moves toward you with labored breath.
Sparfell? Are you alright?
Probably not. Sparfell's toe catches on a rock, and he collapses forward in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag.
Ambush!
Okay, you're going to frenzy and then get that guy. You are going to knock that guy down.
Let's go!
I think she's got him well handled, and we should be able to take him down without an issue. Oh, yeah.
Let's go!
I got mine first. And I got yours.
Come on, we have to get back to camp.
True, but before we do that, we need to do a little bit of looting. So, hunting bow, hide armor, and some agate. Now, one thing about this is that you may get copper coins, you may get silver coins, or even gold coins for different nations have their own coinage. Everything gets converted into coppers, which is convenient. I remember playing this and thinking, wow, I only got like 17 silver off of that. Doesn't seem like a lot of money. Well, it's not, but at the same time, when you break it down, it turns into like, you know, oh boy. I think we're just going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Alright, Bowman, you make me mad. You need to stop that right now. Oh yeah, I turned off the AI, didn't I? So you're on fire, so you get knocked down.
Let's go!
How did you miss a guy when you have him flying? Seriously?
Let's go!
Missed again. There we go. Let's see. A couple of hatchets, some shields, and more money. Not a bad deal. And same here as well. So we'll have plenty of stuff to sell once we get where we're going. Fortunately, we won't be selling it to these guys. Glenfathen leader. All around you lie the massacred remains of the other travelers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy. Kaliska puts the back of her left hand to her mouth as to ward off some poisonous vapor. A handful of dark figures stand above the fallen, treading on limbs and backs and heads, jerking their axes from bodies as if from half-split logs. One of them, towering and severe, with a thick beard tasseled with knots, so not unlike what I look like, holds a wet blade at the neck of the man you recognize as Heodin, the last of your caravan left standing. Lay down your arms, trespasser. Do not forfeit this man's life for a fight you will lose. They plan on killing us all anyway, so why? Lore 1. The ruin has not been sullied by our hands, men of Glenfathen. Your words carry no weight when I see the truth with my own eyes. Blood must be paid for this intrusion. So I say again, lower your arms. Let's see what we got here. You know what? I've never actually done this. Put your weapons down. Very well. Let's let him go. He shoves Heodin towards you as he does so. Okay, he freaking cuts the guy anyway. You bastard. So now we just need to re-equip everybody real quick. That slot can't be changed in combat. Really? Interesting. Well, this is going to go poorly then. Let's see what you got. You've got Blinding Strike. This fight's gonna be a lot harder, but it's okay. Well, we can still frenzy. Hey, Hayden's gonna die, but screw it, who cares? Why can't I? Oh, there it is. That's my second wind right there.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah, gotta remember to keep that going. Now, hold on a second. There we go. Come on, heal up. There we go. Now, supposedly there's a way to do it without getting Hayden injured, but that's okay. I'm not super concerned about it. So yeah, we're just basically punching these guys to death because we're badasses. Your enemy lies supine on the ground, unable to rise. His companion is now silent among the other dead. His breath comes in wheezing, fitful gasps. He looks not at you, but at the sky above you. Forgive us. Yeah, I just beat 3 heavily armed men to death with my bare hands. Barely audible beneath his choked sighs, a whisper of wind stirs the air. At this, the man's eyes roll back as he closes them. Good, good. The gods are just. I am ready. The wind begins to swell, whipping around the camp, electric and volatile, upending pots, rattling tents like an angry spirit. You can feel it begin to seep beneath your skin, and where it pierces you, you feel as if it was rending you apart from within. Seated against a wagon wheel amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across chest and bow, Odema's body stirs, and with great effort he raises his sagging head, his eyes barely open. He looks directly at you.
Get inside! Run!
That's good advice. Oh. Okay, so Hayden is in fact not dead. I thought he was. Straining against a gale that threatens to pull you off your feet with every step, you set your hands on the worn folds of weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up the precipice. The last burst of energy before your arms give out, you swing yourself up to the ledge. Hayden trails behind, slowed by injury and delayed by earlier hesitation. As he nears the face of the rocks, one of the fallen attackers, who has been feigning death, lunges for Hayden and topples him onto the rocky ground. Restrained, Hayden lashes out against his fatigued assailant, but struggles to break his hold. There should be an H there, guys. Without a weapon in your hands, you can do little to help him from where he stands. So, we don't have enough dexterity, which is odd, so I thought I put my dex to 16. No, my constitution was at 16. Allow Hayden to break free on his own. Wresting free of his attacker's grip, Hayden lands a blow that sends the assailant reeling. He makes a mad dash for the ledge upon which you stand. Suddenly, as he reaches for the rock face, his body jerks back and is rigid, as though it were a bow being strung. His shrieks of pain grow panicked, abandoned of all restraint, like someone tethered to a stake and set aflame. Jesus, the imagery there. A slender wisp of spectral light emerges from his back, rising out of him like smoke before separating itself and disappearing into the ether. All at once, the screams stop, and Hayden is dead. There's a deep resonance to the wind now. You feel it in the rocks beneath your feet and inside the cavity of your own chest, as though it would shake the marrow from your bones. Each new gust menacing the old stones before you, loosening connections, unsettling balances. As you dart beneath the old archway, the entire portal begins to fall beneath its own weight. So, as it turns out, he got hacked up, and because I didn't have the required skills or attributes, he died anyway.
We should be dead.
Yeah, we just got into a fist fight with 3 armed freaking barbarian elves. Awesome.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside.
Alright. So I still have the strange illness. -3 constitution, -3 fortitude. That's annoying. Well, how about we re-equip our weapons here, kids? How does that sound like a plan? Yeah, slightly annoyed by that. Let's see. I'm almost tempted to use that. It's more powerful than anything else I have. You know what? Let's give this to our friend here. Yes, she is a tank, but she'll probably make use of that. Be a nice opener.
Sure.
Let's see. A lower level of the ruins has been blocked off by the fallen rubble. Okay, I'm actually going to take off fast moving here. I don't remember what I'm going to run into, and I don't want to just do so willy-nilly.
We have to be careful in here. Place has been open to the wilds for a couple thousand years. Might be a lot of vermin taking shelter here. 4-legged if we're lucky. 2 if not.
What happened out there? Windstorm of a kind that only get in the Irglanfin. Not too many people live through them, so it's hard to know what's true. The Glenfathan word is Beowick. To them, it's the gods' way of reaping the souls of the land that couldn't find their own way out. They'll take a living soul as soon as a dead one. Still got yours?
We look for another way out. Storm has to die sometime.
Who attacked us? Glenfathans. Those would be the hut dwellers Odema warned you about. Looks to be the Fangs of Galawain. The twitchiest of the lot. They go ruin to ruins looking for fights with colonists. Poor Odema. I think he half expected this once we lost the main road. The Glenfathans said we trespassed in the ruins. I don't believe that. Odema would never allow it. As much as the Fangs are hotheads, Glenfathans don't attack without being provoked. Either they saw something and got the wrong idea, or... She glances down the passage beyond. Or there's looters in here with us. That's not something we need right now. What about everybody else? The wheels got a hold of them now. Gods grant them better luck in their next lives. Now, I do have the option of saying you don't seem too upset about this, but I don't think I would be too upset about this. I'm a barbarian after all. So... First.
Someone else has been here. We should move.
Ah, but we should loot first. So a mace, some camping supplies, and a hammer and chisel. We'll take all that. And we've got a small shield and another torch. Okay.
Nice and slow.
Anything around here we should be sneaky about? No. So let's take a look down and see what's behind door number 2. Not a whole lot of anything. Let's check this way. A trembling, sickly creature emerges from the dark, clutching a spear. Knobby elbows and thin ribs show through its scaly flesh, but you recognize it as a Zarup. It watches you cautiously, breathing and sagged still. I'll tear you to pieces, lizard. The Zarup's eyes narrow as it hisses at you. It lunges, raising the spear. Did she hit him? I think she hit him. No, she missed. Yeah, that thing really is slow. Nope, I got it. You didn't. So, guys, Zarup's spear and another medium shield. Everything just goes in the stash. More lockpicks and a hunting bow. A lot of hunting bows to be found around here. Let's see. Crossbow, leather armor, Angwithan relief gem, torch, and a tattered journal. The small folio is torn in several places, and blood is soaked into several of the sheets. One later entry is still legible, however. Can't believe my luck. With a few rounds of dice, I got my hands on a genuine Angwithan artifact. The fellow who had it said it was pretty nothing. As far as he's concerned, he's not willing to go digging in some ruins. He's right about this gem leading to a hidden treasure, then it's worth sneaking past a few painted elves. I'm heading to Salantalis in the morning, then it's just a matter of finding this relief he was talking about. Thanks for fucking it up for the rest of us, pal.
Those tiles look suspicious. Let's be careful.
Yeah. Now, this is a good time to have Hayden because these are all trapped.
Nice and slow.
I don't know if we can even tell. But with Hayden with us, we could have deactivated all the traps, got the experience for it.
Those symbols. Just like the tiles.
Alright, let's switch over to... There we go. Alright, symbol of interwoven rings inscribed on this pillar. An unlit brazier sits at its base. It could be lit if you had the means. Use your torch. Flames kindle swiftly in the brazier, winding the way.
Stay quiet.
Actually, not what I meant to do. There we go. Oh god, would you get out of stealth mode? Thank you. Oh, particularly like being here all day. And we have a little base relief here. Real may be ancient, but the colors are still bright and vivid. It shows a progression of Igwithians from all Hith races. Anuma, Elf, Orland, Dwarf, and Human. They walk among the pillars, similar to the ones that span this chamber, each one topped with a flame. Good. God, they need to... I think they fixed that later in the later game. And speaking of the later game, it's a shame that we're not actually going to be seeing another version of that. Because apparently it did so poorly, which was a shame considering how it was both crowdfunded and amazingly good, that we will never see another sequel.
Let's go! Let's go!
There we go. Who got the kill on that one? Killiska did. Nice. And we got some ooze plasma. What's it good for? Not a clue. Poleaxe. Yeah, so the great sword does slash pierce damage, and the poleaxe does slash and crush damage, which is weird because they usually have a little spike on the top for pierce damage as well in real life. But so different types of armor for different types of resistance.
Where'd that slime come from?
Generally it looks like it came from everywhere, but good talk. A viscous slick of something dark and tar-like runs down this wall. The shapes and bulges in the ooze suggest something lies beneath, but you can't tell what. Use your water skin to clear off the ooze. The same water skin that was going to, save me from dying of dehydration due to me shitting my life out. You rinse the ooze away, revealing an intricate relief of a man's face. The sunburst surrounding it has chipped away in places, but the details on his head and the tight curls of hair to the ridges of his pointed ears still showcase remarkable craftsmanship. When a gem is empty, a gem fills the other. Place the gem in the eye socket. The chamber begins to rumble, stray rocks dancing across the tile floor. Finally, a large section of the wall gives way. And we lost the relief gem. And here we've got, I think, just the one ooze. So. Come on. There we go. Another ooze slime. And here we have a minor cloak of protection, an amethyst, and a piece of Adra. Now this is really good because, well, my defenses are 16, 43, 28, and 22. 48, 33, and 27. And my damage reduction just went up slightly, I think. No? No, it just blinked. That's okay. I do have the scale armor on right now. So I'm really wondering, as we do have all these lovely hand weapons here, if it would be better to go with fast weapons. So an axe in one hand, a mace in the other. That's 11 to 16 slash. It's 11 to 13 crush. That's average speed and fast speed versus the slow speed of the greatsword. So let's try this out and see what happens. I'm sure we'll find something to beat up at some point.
Steady does
Okay,
it.
real quick. Anything in there? No. Can never tell if there's going to be anything in there or not until you go into stealth mode. That's why a lot of people that have played this game that I've seen online have preferred to go with a fast game speed and just run around in stealth mode the entire time, which I find to be absolutely obnoxious. But there you go. Now we have a clear path through if you're willing to go through it. These lit squares are still traps, but there's another way around as well. If you have Hayden, you can just
Wait. Do you hear that?
deal with all the traps.
Wait.
Scolder Road.
Do you hear that?
Okay, let's check that attack speed now.
Let's go!
Oh yeah. That goes way quicker with two-hand weapons. Though, to be fair, I'm not really to sign off on my giant swords yet. I like giant swords.
That looks weak. Could be a shortcut.
See, a crack runs along this wall from floor to ceiling. A light gust of air passes through it. Push on the wall. Despite the damage, the stone looks heavy and solid. Push on it yourself. You push with all your might, and the crack begins to spread. Finally, you feel the ancient masonry give way. The wall crashes down, revealing a circular room ahead. Or you could have used up the hammer and chisel, which was a one-time deal. And I think we have some more. Yeah, there we go.
Let's go!
Trying to get around me here? Sit down. Not the most threatening things on the planet, but treat them with caution regardless. I love the fact that I still have my greatsword on my back if I need it. It's just little details.
Fresh air in here. I think we found an exit. Sounds like the storm path, too.
Oh, spiders. God, I hate spiders. I have a friend of mine who's super arachnophobic.
Let's go!
There we go. Of course, if we head down this way, we will see the other end of the trap here. Okay, is there anything around here?
Stay quiet.
I think that's a no. I'm gonna try something. Think you can hit the damn thing? Did she hit the damn thing or not? I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger here. I have no idea if she did or not. Nope, she missed. Okay, you go deal with that. You get all crazy. Come on, you can die now, Mr. Spider. I don't know, maybe I should put the AI back on. I'm usually disappointed by what they do, so I'm hesitant. Okay, bats as large as chickens are strung in the web. That's a lovely thought. We got a rapier and a bloodstone. 1116 pierce. It's not too bad. There's something else down this way as well, I seem to remember. Ah. A helmet. We have a jasper and then a gate.
Steady does it.
Those will be useful in the future, but only for crafting. Not actually we're selling, really. And we are out of the caves. Now, one downside, and this is something I can't get around even with the speed I have, loading screens tend to be a little bit long. Older robed man. 4 figures stand before an otherworldly apparatus, an ancient structure of chiseled adra and metallic veins, ominous and looming like a silent observer. Standing motionless in their midst is what appears to be a human body, colorless as stone. or ash. The other figures gaze upon it with what might be contemplation. From your vantage point, you are well obscured from their view. The figure closest to the machine stands out among them. A thick gray beard frames a face otherwise hidden beneath a metallic mask. His faded robes are embroidered with a runic language unlike anything you've ever seen, and he wears a strange black headdress with two protrusions that jut out like the wings of some malevolent creature. It's okay to call him Batwings, guys.
Oathbinder, bear witness, and see this man has kept his word true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guide his soul, queen that was, and regard it among your favored. Let his life by the key be his confession. Let his death by the key be his absolution. May he walk the world ever free of the crushing weight of the book. Your brother has done his part, and you have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest of you. In the sight of the queen that was, will you fulfill the oath? Will you take your place beside your brother in the endless esteem of her memory that is without flaw? Step forth, and be assured of the great worth of your life's course.
Visually, this game does not disappoint. For an instant, the apparatus goes quiet and the air is still. Then, all at once, it erupts with a concussive surge. Light floods your vision and you're knocked to the ground. Your head snaps back as you land, and pain wells into the back of your skull, washing your last thoughts away into the black unconscious void. You open your eyes to a different place, another time. You stand in a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with Audra and trimmed with copper. The style is ancient, but the chamber is unweathered. At the far end, a great pillar of Audra pierces the floor from below, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Encircling the pillar is an apparatus much like the one that you've just seen, but immense and multifaceted and intertwined. Your thoughts are yours, but not yours, and they seem to exist before you think them, and they're all questions. Pressing questions, troubling questions. Questions that must be answered, or... At the base of the pillar now you see a man with a thick gray beard and ceremonial robe, crowned with a strange ornamental headdress. You know this man. You are walking towards him now at a pace that is hurried while not trying to appear so. You have something you want to ask him. One question above all, and the question spins madly in your mind. However, it will have to wait. And this is why I'm wasn't too worried about Hayden. You awaken to find your malaise is broken, only to be replaced with something far more concerning. Faint whispers are audible at the edge of your hearing, like a ringing in your ears that does not subside. Movement flits through your periphery, but when you turn to look, you can see no sign of whatever it was. You find your gaze regularly darting this way and that, an involuntary paranoid tic. If this is a sickness, it may be dangerous to go without treatment for long. The figures of the machine stand frozen in place, flesh and blood replaced by cinders and ash. The man who led them is nowhere to be seen. You find Calliska lying prostrate a short distance away, blood pooling beneath her head. No breath escapes her lips. You are alone and far from help. Gilded Veil may be your best hope for receiving treatment before things get worse. And we have leveled up. And as I was saying, this is why I wasn't too worried about losing Calliska. Or anybody else for that matter. But I liked her. And her battle axe, or my battle axe is better than my hatchet, so we're going to be taking that. So, first things first. Let's move the stash over this way. There we go. So, battle axe. Bonus crit damage. And damage. This punches through armor a little bit better because, well, it's a freaking hammer. So that's good. Now, where do I click on the level up? There we go. It's been a while. So, things we need. Survival would be nice. We're definitely going to want some mechanics. Who is Conan without a little bit of stealth? And we can pump up his lore a bit as well, just for the sheer hell of it. Now, we get talents. Now, Barbaric Blow is once per encounter, user's full attack, 13-19 slash, plus 13-19 crush. I think it's based on your weapons. The Barbarian deals a massive blow, causing additional crits and extra damage on crits. Carnage is not affected. So that's a good attack. Accurate Carnage. The Barbarian learns to line up his or her most savage blows, improving the accuracy of secondary attacks from Carnage, plus 5 accuracy, which isn't a big deal. Greater Frenzy. Let's see. Cultivates the Barbarian in a rage, granting additional bonuses while under the effects of Frenzy, so modifies Frenzy with +2 Might and +2 Constitution, so more damage, more hit points. Much per encounter, +4 Might, +4 Constitution, 33 attack speed, minus. So everything remains the same there. We can also get Acolyte's Radiance. Nuance Faith in the Gods has allowed this character to unleash a wave of spiritual energy similar to a priest's holy radiance, which just screws up the undead around them. A little bit of healing, a little bit of burn damage. You get Sneak Attack, Ranger's Mark, Enigma's Charm. I think that's a Cipher ability. Yeah, it charms the opponent. Gallant Focus gives you a Paladin Aura, which gives +4 accuracy to everybody around you. Now, so Suffering is a bonus to unarmed damage. The armor attacks do increase damage and gain power as they advance, blah, 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 blah. Magic Missiles from a wizard, which is kind of cool. You get to summon skeletons like a chanter, which is really cool because you don't have to actually charge it up, you just summon the damn things. Ranger's Wounding Shot and Veteran's Recovery. So this is just a passive ability. It just means you get more hit points back. The fighter already gets hit point recovery. This gives them more hit point recovery. Esperance Mark. This might actually be the Druid power. Yeah, it is. Okay, then for offensive things, we have like Weapon Focus Adventurer, bonus accuracy for the Poleaxe, a stock flail, wand, and a warbow. The Knight gets the battle axe, the sword, the Morningstar, and the crossbow. Like the Soldier gets the great sword, the pike, the warhammer, the arbalist, and the arquebus. Which, as far as I'm aware, an arbalist is just a really big fucking crossbow. So, not sure why they have the two different ones. So you have two-handed style, +20 dual lead attack speed. One-handed style is 15% of hits are converted to crits, which is really nice. And two-handed style is +15% damage. For defense, we have bonus to the number of enemies you can have engaged, which is good for fighters and tanks. +10 reflex, which would completely negate the penalty from being in frenzy, which is nice. Bear's Fortitude is more fortitude damage, more will, +6 shield deflection, and you also get it to your reflex, so makes you better at using a shield. Also a good ability for a paladin or a fighter. This gives you a bonus defense when you're disengaging, which never really comes up. We have this weird stuff. So Fast Runner is a +1 to movement speed and +5 defense when disengaging. Silent the Flame, +5 damage reduction against burning, and you do 20% burn damage. Now, I don't know if you just always get burn damage with this, or you get more burn damage when you're having a weapon that has burn. Like if I have a torch in my hand or a fire enchant on a weapon that does more, or I just passively do burn damage. I have no friggin' idea. Heart of the Storm is the same thing, but it's for shock. Spirit Decay is for corrode and for freeze. Faster to change weapons. Useful for mages if you have multiple grimoires, so you can switch your spell books and pull different spells out of your ass at no time at all. Moonbinding is +40 health. Recovery over 9 seconds. And Field Triage is +20 health over 9 seconds for a friendly target. This is for you. This is for your friends. Now, we only get one. And we are going to go for Greater Frenzy. And we'll pick up the deflection bonus next time. So we actually don't have to suffer from it. So yeah, that was long-winded, and I apologize. So right now, plus 21 damage. That's going to kick up to 21 might, 20 endurance. Everything is going to remain the same. So that's really good. That is very, very good. 500 health, 63 endurance. One thing I do love about Deadfire, and yes, I'm going to make this comparison probably more than once. They did away with the split between endurance and health. It's just all the same pool. Well, that's unfortunate. So yeah, visions of people being tortured. How absolutely lovely is that? Pilgrim's Crown. You can actually loot the bodies for vessel flesh, which is going to be useful later. That's someone about to be burned at the stake. Isn't that lovely? And that's just going to stay there. Okay. Massive structure is formed of stone, odra, and copper, and covered in strange glyphs, and the air around it vibrates with an unusual energy. Yeah, that one's not going away, and we can't interact with it. Oh, there it goes. And Pilgrim's Crown. Yeah, I'm going to collect all this because I'm going to need it later, most likely. Alright, and another Springberry. Awesome. If I actually had any water left, and if I was still sick or not. Alright, now I have major fatigue. I am going to have to get some sleep. This is the other thing I do like about this game. Your characters do actually get tired as time goes on. Now, this is our map right now. So, we're in Salantalis. So we have the Valenwood and Gilded Vale down here. This is Defiance Bay, Deerford Village, and Twin Elms. And it's not a very large map at first glance, but it does have a lot of things here, which is very, very nice. Now, that being the case, we're not going to move on today because I think it's time to call this an end to this episode. For those of you who watched to this point, I appreciate you doing so. If you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know. I am greatly out of practice playing this game, and while I have tried to keep up with any changes, I'm not completely cognizant of all of them. And if you have any technical comments or critiques, either due to volume, my speech patterns, the speed in which I do this, please also leave that as well. I would greatly appreciate any feedback, because I cannot do this better unless you know what I'm doing wrong. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time. It has been a pleasure playing this, and I hope to see you all again. Thank you.